Maybe you're smiling now because you cannot do this more than 5 centimeters on each side, but you will see it's not very necessary to make the great cutting. It can come very fast that we cut a little bit and we get a great amount of electricity. You see, if I put here the tool on, I get 1, 1. If I cut, I had 10, 5, 7, 5, 4, maybe you see 2, now it goes back. So we know we are on the right way to cut the violet wire. And this we can do. You see 85, 60, 70, 73, 74, and that's what we need. That's what we need. So I hope you can see it. So the power increases, the power still goes down, still goes up. That's what we need. Now it goes back. This will show us the violet wire is the right wire we need to cut. But I think we need another small break. 9600, you see, 107. I hope you can see it here. And it decreases when the cutting is finished. So I think we have to try it to run the pyramid, because it will not get better than 120, 130 in the moment where you cut, and the fine-tuning you can make if you have some real load on the pyramid. And now there's the next very interesting thing inside the pyramid. We're speaking every time from frequency, and to bring the pyramid into frequency, it's necessary to give her some load. So in this moment we cannot measure any great amount of electricity, but if we bring a user not too great and not too small, we can allow the coil to swing. But to allow the coil to swing, we need something what is swinging itself, and that's the great mystery, and that's one of the greatest secrets of the whole pyramid. Listen carefully, it's very, very important. You cannot start a pyramid with a lamp or with a very low ohm user. You need something very high ohm, and you need something what gives the pyramid some swingings back. You cannot start the pyramid with the lamp. You cannot start the pyramid with all the uses which are not swinging, because now we have the problem, we produce DC voltage and we need some swingings into the coils to start the work of the coils. And one of the best things you can put into the pyramid is any kind of motor, because it sounds ugly, it sounds stupid, but it is the truth. If the motor is turning, the motor seems to give something back to the coil. So the motor will emit the coil to swing, and you will see it from the start to the end. It starts a little bit slow and it will go faster and faster and faster. And so you see, you can see it on the voltmeter too. The voltage and the amperage is increasing within -1 second, and it's very impressive to see this. But for this you need a special item to bring it into swing, and that's the next deal. Now I'm 100% sure that we can produce any energy with the pyramid. Everything is, in my opinion, okay, and we have a little bit now, 1.0, sometimes 2.0, sometimes 3.0. It depends on my movement too, because I'm for the pyramid in this case I'm some resistor too. And now I want to bring a motor or something like this, and then we try to get some swingings into the pyramid. Well, now we have to try to find an end for all this kind. and we try to make a little bit power on your pyramid. Well, we keep the poles together. And you will see there is no reaction. So I hope you can see it originally. So these are the two wires, the red and the green one. And here we have a small user. And as you can see, there is nothing else on site. So we don't have any multimeter, we don't have any tricks here. And what I want to show you, I have to go a little bit away with my wires. So now we have nothing, there is no reaction. I hope we can see the ventilator good. Okay. And if I will turn the ventilator, so I have to make a few turns. Wait, I have to change my hands. So I'll make a little bit spinning on. And we gave something to the coil. And now we have to wait approximately 2 to 3 minutes. This is not very wonderful what we see now. Okay, that was all. We try to get a little bit more. So I have to check the camera that you can see it now, really. Okay, so I will need a little bit more. Okay, this is not very nice, but it's normal. So wait a second. We have to check the error. Okay, if you see, if we connect the wire, we get a little bit of movement. So we have to connect it properly. Maybe crocodiles are defect, I don't know. This is nothing to show anybody. Well, it's not a great amount, but now we can synchronize the pyramid in a better way. Maybe it will help to keep a little bit more out of the... It's lower than before. Okay. So we have to try it on the other side a little bit. So that's not very much. If I am true, this is a little bit disaster. This is a disaster because I made the coil very great and I don't know where's the problem now in this moment. But now we have to do the following things. We will make on the both sides from the swinging coil, we will make the opening. I will keep away the insulating and I try to get a little bit longer on the violet side because I think here we have the problem. The swinging, the frequency, the harmony is not okay now. So give me a minute. Next installment. Now, I hope you can see it here on the video. I think you can see it. Now I installed a little piece of metal with 2 screws. Maybe you know it. It's to connect some cables and wires. It's the same like this, but I put the insulation away to handle it a little bit better. But on the other side it's a problem. Sorry. Don't touch this if the pyramid is producing the full energy, because it could be a little bit terrible for you. Well, what's the deal with this small thing? Now I can touch it without any problem. Now I can adjust the length of this wire from millimeter to millimeter, and so we will see what happens. If the pyramid is fully cold, like in this moment, there is no production, no powering on site, it's not a great problem to touch it. But please make all the time some checks if everything is okay, and if you are not 100% sure if your coils are cold or not, you keep the great power user. Maybe you make it especially for this And every time when you're not working on the pyramid, put a great user, a low ohm user between these two wires. Well, now we have the piece installed here, and you see if I connect it, I get a little bit of movement, but there is no real movement because on one side we don't have the power here, on the other side maybe we don't have the real voltage here. I don't want to use any multimeter now in this moment because I know the people. The first sentence they will say is, okay, you have some atomic power plant in your multimeter and this will load all your pyramid, and I don't want to discuss with anybody if it's working or not. So you see all my try here is free of anything, and now we try to give it a swing, and we can see there is a little bit more tempo in the swing, and I hope to get more turning speed in the next 10, 15 or 30 seconds. Meanwhile, I will speak a little bit about my multimeters. It's very important because in the last scenes you saw this one. It's a very small one. The cheapest multimeter you can buy in Europe from Voltcraft, and this is my major multimeter which I'm working. Of course, it's not an electronic one, it's for car mechanics. This is my main profession. I want to use two multimeters because I want to avoid any callings for cheats. So if you can see in the corner, the ventilator, the motor will get a little bit more speed, but not that speed we need. Before we touch all the electric inside, I will keep the greater one because here we have the great numbers. So where to put it? It's very complicated to make everything alone. So we keep 20 volts, of course, and we try to make a measurement. So okay, red is mass, very intelligent. It's mass and so we get 8.22, but this is not a voltage like you think. You see it on the motor. There is no power here, so the volts they are not very interesting. We know the amps are interesting. So this 8 point something you can forget in the same second, because of course the motor is a little bit reproducing and sending back. What we need is more speed here on the fan. And now we can do two things. We can adjust the pyramid itself a little bit, we can turn the pyramid a little bit, or we can try to keep the high and the lowness of all the equipment. So we have to make a setup now. But I think in normal ways this setup is using a little bit more time, so we cannot make it in one cut. We cannot make it in one cut because it's a little bit tricky to try all the possibilities which can happen now. But now I think it's a good time to go with you around my pyramid to prove that there we will have no other wires installed. So what do we have here? Of course, you know, here's the pyramid. Here are the wires. You can see the wires, the connectors, black and red, up to my little friend. Oh, he is making more speed now. Wonderful. And now I will show you something very interesting. It's a little bit dangerous, but I want to make the whole equipment without any cut. So please, I have to walk through my home shack. I don't want to make a cut for you to make it serious. So of course we know we have some cable here, the earthing. The ventilator is still turning. We will put down the earthing. I don't want to touch it now, but you see